Namaskar, welcome to Bharat Voice. Today we have convened today to discuss a very important burning issue, and the issue is about the state oppression of the Chidambaram Podhu Dikshitars for a hostile takeover of the Natarajar, the famous ancient Natarajar Temple. It has been now quite some time in news about a lot of misinformation has been going on in the media about the Podhu Dikshitars, ranging from false accusations about untouchability, then child marriage, and even not allowing devotees into the holy Kanaka Sabai. To demystify all these lies, we have today with us the advocate, the legal counsel of the Chidambaram Natarajar Temple, to speak to us about the problems faced by the Podhu Dikshitars, who are a micro minority. They just consist of 400 whole families. The Supreme Court has recognized them as a religious denomination and with rights to their own maintaining and administering their own religious temples. So, Sabanayagar Natrajar Temple has been recognized even by the Supreme Court as the Podhu Dikshitars have been recognized as the custodians, the main custodians of the temple. The DMK's government and HR&CE under it has been relentlessly attacking it. So I welcome today Advocate Chandrasekar to please talk about it and inform us about the various issues surrounding the Podhu Dikshitars and the Natarajar Temple. Welcome, sir. Namaskaram.
Welcome. Namaskar. Yes,
Sir,
madam.
please,
Yes, madam.
please
Yeah,
do
you have given a brief
inform.
introduction, madam, about the various thing which has been there in the public domain. Mostly, first and foremost is the misinformation. That is because there is a sustained misinformation campaign by the group which are hostile to Dikshitars for so many years. From 2006 onwards, there was a group of people, and there is a group, some groups, some fringe groups, who are hostile to the Dikshitars. And they always say that the Chidambaram Nataraja Temple should be under the control of the HR&CE department. This is one thing. And the brief history is that HR&CE department has been fighting over this right of Chidambaram Temple, because this is the only temple which is not in their list. The all other major temples, and including the small cities, there are 46,000 temples were under their control throughout the state. But this temple, in spite of 3 rounds of litigation, they are not able to succeed and take control. Therefore, the HR&CE department, as this temple is a thorn in their flesh, and they're not relenting. That is the one thing which is to be noted. In spite of the final quietus that has been given on 6/1/2014 that about the temple administration, the HR&CE is still not relenting, and still they say that they want to control. So that is one thing. So therefore, there is a disinformation campaign about the Dikshitars. Now, the various channels which I have also giving interview, and various journalists are speaking to me, both from Tamilnadu and also from outside Tamilnadu. First of all, they're very curious to know why there is a disinformation campaign against the Dikshitars, and why the Tamil Nadu government is so hostile to them, being one very micro-ethnic community. Why they are hostile? The answer is very simple, because there is a one constituency which the ruling dispensation wants to satisfy, and that constituency is against this kind of a Brahminical management of the temple. So that is one thing, because everybody in Tamil Nadu politics can understand, even though that issue has been diluted now. But still, there are some groups still saying that Brahmin and non-Brahmin And now there is a different version going on, which I am not concerned, because now Sanatana or non Sanatana Dharma and other things that has been spoken nowadays. That, of course, the Chidambaram temple is not that. The only thing which is now bothering them, the constituent, the groups that are opposing to Dikshitars, is about the Brahminical administration, because there are temple administration by other communities. There are some private temples, big temples. I don't want to name them because my duty is not, but there are. It is a fact. In Tamilnadu, everybody knows. There are some big temples managed by other communities. But the HR&CE department is not even sent even a semblance of notice to them. What is the administration? What is the? But here, the 3 rounds of litigation has ended, and after that, these people are giving 20 notices from May 2022 to the Chidambaram Natarajar Temple, saying that this is accounts are not proper, the jewels verification has to be done. The jewel verification is already done from 1955, has to be re-audited. All those things have been there, and there are 20 notices. And all the 20 notices, we have given that apt reply legally that the HR&CE has got no jurisdiction over this temple as per the Supreme Court judgment. Show me. We also asked them, in what authority you are asking? But the minister, the honorable minister, and the department kept on saying that they got a control and they can ask for accounts and other things. Then when that is the case, then we decided, because we also wanted to become a transparent administration, because we can't say that some department has got no jurisdiction, because it was also some kind of a wrong signals also, because somebody is asking for accounts. Somebody said in the public domain, why somebody is asking accounts, why can't you show them? Maybe they may not have any jurisdiction, but still you have to be very transparent. So when that is a thing, our legal team thought, why this kind of a criticism should also be there. So we took it very positively, and we said, we also announced to the print and electronic media, whenever that this kind of notices come, the notices were leaked by the HR&CE to the obvious fact that they wanted to leak it to give a wrong image about the Dikshitars. Then we also thought, whenever the reply is given, we also gave it the reply to the public domain, so that everything, our stand is also known to the public. So in that, we made it public. Very clearly, we said, the auditing will be done by an external auditor, which is not done in HR&CE temple. The HR&CE temple, they do only internal audit.
Yes.
Whereas in Chidambaram temple, we employed chartered accountant with an external audit. That is very transparent. Yes. So in that way, we demonstrated a privately managed temple can be very transparent in getting an external auditor auditing the accounts. So in that, we answered. But this method of external auditor being done, even though we made it very public, but still in public domain, nobody is aware. That's why I'm through your channel, I wanted to make it very public that Chidambaram temple accounts are now being done by an external auditor, unlike the HR&CE temple, which has got no auditor. HR in temples, which is not audited by an external auditor. Now, yes, to give more, throw more light on the HR&CE temple having an accounts like this, not very transparent. There is a case in Madras filed by some temple activists where they say that external auditor should be done by the HR&CE also. So that is, there is a direction given, and there is a case is also, and I think there are some writ petitions have been filed. Why these writ petitions have been filed? Because the staggering amount of audit objections, that is more than 15 lakhs. 15 lakhs audit objection is still not been resolved by the HR&CE temple. That's why the public activists and public interest litigation has been filed for the Madras High Court, saying that There are 15 lakhs audit objections still pending, and it has not been resolved. Such a maladministration is being done by the HR&CE department. Therefore, the external audit should be done. That is one thing. Next thing is the HR&CE department, HR&CE temples are run by public donation, because you can see undials in every HR&CE temple. The undials are there,
Mm.
whereas in Chidambaram temple there is no undial. We never ask for any public donation. Then there is a question asked in the public domain: how, without getting any public donation, how can a temple like Chidambaram temple can be run? We also made it very public. We also gave an explanation to the HR&CE department, and we made it also in the public domain. But I'm again doing it again for the
Mm.
sake of your audience, because
Yes.
what is there in Chidambaram temple is very unique. Daily puja, and there are monthly
Mm.
pujas, and there are special pujas,
Mm.
and also
Mm.
festivals, 2 annual festivals and other festivals, small festivals will be there. All of them are sponsored by trust, private trust. So they sponsor it, like Pachayapas Trust, MS Trust, PS Trust. There are several other trust people. They give the each day, because there will be a katlaidar like this, the mandapagaditar or something like that. They will be called, because they have this trust obligation to be done. So they give it to the Katlai Dikshitar how to conduct that daily puja and monthly puja,
Mm.
special puja, and also the festivals. So this is the way in which
Mm.
the money has been given by the trust. The trust is accounting
Mhm.
them. So there is no
Mhm.
way. We are only implementing the religious activity. So the role of the
Mhm.
Dikshitars is only implementing the religious activity. So there cannot be any kind of
Yes.
a financial mismanagement in implementing those, because the trustees are there. If there is any, if the
Yes.
trustees are giving the amount, and also because the one thing in Chidambaram temple is most the Abhisheka articles and other things, they give the articles, and only the few money,
Mhm.
the portion of the amount is only towards some portion for dakshina and some portion for other things. Therefore, there
Mm.
cannot be any kind of a major, any kind of an area in which a financial thing, fraud can be uh, attributed to the Dikshitars. The Dikshitars' duty is only
Mm.
to implement these trust obligations, like daily pujas and other things. Therefore, this temple is
Yes.
a very unique from HR&CE temple.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this working is only known to the local people, but not others, because
Mm.
they visit the temple, they worship, and they
Mm.
offer some special puja, and they leave. But they don't know about the working of this temple,
Mm.
because they visit the other
Mhm.
HR&CE temple, where they
Mm.
have to pay Abhisheka Katnam, other
Mm.
things, for Sahasnamarchana they have to pay, for Lacharchana they have to pay, for special puja, for special homam, all were tickets. So people think, because people are used to such kind of insurance getting money from them, so they don't know
Yes.
how this temple functions. So the mind
Yes.
critics who are very used to only the HR&CE temple, they also think, their perception about the Nataraja temple, that the Dikshitars collect huge money. That was an allegation that was
Mhm.
going around in the public by the people who are opposing them. But they should visit this temple. That is why I
Mhm.
asked in one channel, why, how can you say all these things without even verifying the facts? You come here and
Absolutely.
be there for one day. You can have even a microscopic examination on these pujas and everything. You do a micro, then you find out some kind of fault, then you give a proof, then
Absolutely.
you make allegation. So
Absolutely.
without doing all those things, what these people are, because they are hate groups, what can we expect from them? Because one of the allegations which has been going around was about the Kanaka Sabai darshan, which is now is the hot subject
Yes.
which is going on now,
Mhm.
is that
Mm.
Dikshitars collect money for going to climb the Kanaka Sabai and have darshan.
Mandapam.
Where is the proof? Where is
Mm.
the proof? I'm just asking the proof, but nobody is giving. They say that we are making allegation. That if making an allegation itself is a proof, then nobody can question, because if I owe you money and you are not repaying, then I can say I have to produce some instrument, a promissory note or a check with the amount which is given, and you are not repaying to me. But they say that Dikshitars are collecting money. Then I can understand if hundreds of people, thousands of people, if are deceived by Dikshitars, will they keep quiet for all these years?
Absolutely.
All these years,
Absolutely.
excepting the people who are opposing the Dikshitars, there are 20,000 devotees coming at the time during weekends, and daily there are 5,000 devotees coming after COVID. None of the devotees complain. In fact, I can also invite you to come to Chidambaram, be there,
Sure.
be a neutral watcher, just see how the darshan is taking place. And about the darshan method is also very, very transparent and devotee friendly. There are 4 entrances: east, west, south, north. Anybody entering can have a darshan within 5 minutes, the main deity itself, which cannot, you cannot have such a kind of darshan in a very important temple like Chidambaram, in the HR&CE controlled temples, say Meenakshi temple or Tiruchendur, Palani, or any temple, very large temple, Sri Rangam, you have huge crews for Dharma Darsana. And even if you pay 500, 250, there will be huge crews. You have to wait for 2 hours, 3 hours. Now they are saying that you pay 1,500, you can have a break darshan. Such a thing is not at all
Yes.
done. What is the practice here? Anybody can come, just have darshan in 5 minutes. Go.
Yes.
Can you have a better darshan administration than this? This is only a model administration that has, even the court has been canvassing. The court says you don't discriminate between rich and poor. Scrap all those special darshan tickets. You allow everybody.
Yes.
But the system which has been followed by the HR&CE is a queue. They put these barriers and ask them to, why queue? People are the people are very conscious about their darshan. They come, they just have darshan and they leave. Why you make them
Yes.
to stand in the queue? In Chidambaram, it is not happening at all. No queue. No first come, first service basis. Everybody can come in within 5 minutes. You can have a darshan. I mean, telling it in every news channel, but nobody is appreciating. Nobody is willing to buy the truth. That is the real thing. Nobody is willing to buy the truth. Why
There
compare?
is
Hmm.
there is a lot of
Because
anti-feminism.
the hate campaign say that people collect money. There is a darshan. There is a now come to the discrimination point. Now come here. I want to highlight. We say we are a secular country, but HR&CE temple, there is a board saying non-Hindus are not allowed. But no such board in Chidambaram. Hindus, Muslims, everybody can come and worship without even caste and creed. Nothing no discrimination. We say everybody can come, have a darshan under this Kanaka Sabai Mandapam, go. No discrimination. We are not collecting any fees. What is, I'm at my loss to understand why these allegations are cropping up and cropping up, and the media and in the public domain, everybody is making allegations. In fact, no one is opposing them. Why make allegations without any proof? I think some in North Indian channels now, that is the national channels, now the anchor person is asking, why you make allegation like this? Where is the need for the police to go inside the temple for making some
Absolutely.
people to climb up? Where is the need?
Climb up the
Hmm.
yes. Where
they
is the
send them
need for
huge
them to
contingents.
only
They send
government?
huge contingents of police to the worship, which is unprecedented in India. I never even
Absolutely.
in Tamilnadu, in all the place of worship, I never seen such a kind of a huge contingents of police to come there with HR&CE department just to prove up one-upmanship. What else you can say about this? Now come to the point of this controversy that has been going on for the past few days. What is the controversy? Now, from prior to COVID, we allowed certain peoples to climb up and have darshan. That is there. But it is not a customary right as claimed by them. It is only a permission. Because it is a denomination temple, the denomination temple have always have a condition. They can have put condition for darshan. It is different from the normal public temple. In this denomination temple, the temple administration have got a right to deny darshan in certain quarters, certain things. Because even in Chidambaram, the Dikshitars do Ragasya Puja. The Ragasya Puja is one thing which has been done there. During Ragasya Puja, only that Puja Dikshitar can do that Ragasya Puja. That's why it's called Ragasya Puja. To the main deity. The main deity is invisible form of yantra. That is called Chidambaram Ragasyam. And the puja will be done to that Ragasyam, the Ragasya Puja. That Ragasya Puja time, all the doors will be closed. The Kanaka Sabai doors will be closed. No devotees will be allowed. So that is why they are denominational temple. So therefore, this denomination temple administration have got a right to regulate darshan activities in Kanaka Sabai. So that is not been understood by the HR&CE department or by the hate campaigners. Now, before COVID, there was a daily attendance is only 1,000. And the people who climb the Kanakasabhai is only 300 to 500. 300. One third. 1,000 to 1,500 people used to come. That is a daily attendance. So most of the locals, they won't remove their shirt and go up, climb Kanakasabhai. Mostly even the tourists who are from the devotees coming from far off places, they just wanted that because the darshan from under the Kanakasabhai is also very clear. Without any entrance, they can have darshan. Main deity itself is you can have darshan in 5 minutes. So everybody is happy. They will visit this temple, have darshan, and go to the next temple in time because it is a gateway between the Tanjore district. So everybody will with first Chidambaram, then go to the other districts. Therefore, 5 minutes they just finish off. So nobody will like to go to climb. So prior to COVID, there is no problem. So what has happened after COVID was there was a surge of attendance to 5,000 daily, and during weekends it was 20,000, Sundays and Saturdays. So everybody started visiting because large number of the devotees from Andhra, Karnataka, they visit this Navagraha temple. So before going to the Navagraha temple, they want to visit Chidambaram. Therefore, there are a lot of devotees from the other state also. So the number of devotees increased 20,000. So in 20,000, how can you regulate without discrimination? That is the point which I want to make it very clear. You have to collect money. The Dikshitars do not want to collect any money. But now the allegation was Dikshitars want to collect money. Actually, they are sacrificing. Because if you are having a
Yes.
closer darshan, then you can have a special dakshina for allowing people to have closer darshan. But these people say, don't have a closer, you have a, without discrimination, you have darshan. For that, now they are now being accused for denying some darshan activity by the HR&CE government in Tamil Nadu. How hollow is this? I just that's why I say a lot of disinformation has been going on. I'm not defending somebody which is undefendable thing. I'm only saying plain things before this channel and placing it before the public domain. Everybody can come here.
In fact,
What
sir,
is Yeah, tell
Don't
me.
you think it was a trespass on the part of the police, which is actually supposed
Yes,
to see to it that they regulate the temple? I mean, they see to it that the security of the temple is maintained. They
yes,
themselves come in and barge along with the
yes,
HR&CE people and
yes.
the women.
Just
So
to
it's a
just to prove
trespass.
one-upmanship, just to prove one-upmanship, nothing else. Their ego. That is why their ego. Now the GO was passed, and the story behind the GO is very the legal angle to passing a GO. First of all, the first thing which I want to point out is when a temple is not under your control, how can a government order can be passed in a temple for darshan
Yes.
activities? That is one thing. So that is the first flaw. The GO itself
Yes.
has got no fundamental to stand, no legal legs. That is one thing. The second
Mm.
thing is they know they cannot pass a GO like this. Therefore, they have picked up one person very close to them, named called Radhakrishnan. He filed a public interest
Mm.
litigation in April 2020 before the first bench of
Mm.
Madras High Court, saying that
Mm.
there is a customary right of having darshan before in the Kanaka Sabai. Now the temple administration is not allowing. The third respondent in that petition is not allowing. Therefore, a direction should be given for the customary worship of allowing the devotees as before. That was the petition. The first respondent was the Commissioner HR&CE. The second respondent was
Mm.
District Collector. The third respondent was the
Mm.
temple administration, Chidambaram Dikshitars. Now it came up for admission. During admission, the Advocate General appeared for the first respondent and the second respondent. He conveniently said that because of COVID, there is restriction, and I'll ask the district administration to take a proper decision. This was the representation. This may look uh, very innocuous kind of representation.
You know.
But when you, yes, but when you go, what is that meaning? He made a wrong representation because as a top law officer of the state, he should have represented before the Chief Justice that the temple is not under our state government control. It is under the control of the
Mm.
Dikshitars. So Dikshitars should be also given
Mm-hmm.
notice and their view should be also be taken. That should have been the correct,
Mm.
proper representation from a top law officer of the state, but he didn't. That's why I call this as a convenient litigation. In a convenient litigation,
That's-
when the Advocate General represented like this, then the Chief Justice passed an order. But he passed an order consciously. He saw that there are three respondents. Therefore, what is the order passed by the Chief Justice was a decision with regard to the entry into the Kanakasabhai for darshan should be taken in consultation with R1 to R3. That is including the Dikshitar
Mm.
administration. Take, taking aspect of the COVID lockdown and also all other aspects. So this is the operative portion of the order. Now, based on
Mm.
this order, this GO 115 was passed on 17/5/2022 by the government because they know
Mm.
when they cannot issue a GO directly, so they wanted some court
Okay.
order to aid them. So they were
Mm-hmm.
basing a convenient order that has been obtained without hearing the Dikshitas. And that
Other
the
part.
writ petition was quoted in
Mm.
that GO and an order and a GO was passed. You mean to say
Mm.
this is a correct exercise of authority by the government? It is a colorable exercise of uh, power of passing a
Absolutely.
GO. Any constitutional
Absolutely.
person, any constitutional uh, practicing advocate can say this. You don't have to be a
Yes.
senior most counsel practicing in constitutional court to understand this kind of thing. This I cannot use
Absolutely.
much
You
words
put
because
up
it is
your
very
own person to petition
yes,
the courts and then try to, I mean,
yes,
as though it's a very simple thing that they're asking, and ex
yes,
parte get an order
yes,
and use the ex
yes.
parte order to get a GO. So
And
even before
you
the
understand, madam.
dictionary can.
For the sake of your audience, madam, any order passed ex parte without giving notice to the real contesting party. The real contesting party in this case is the respondent number 3. The respondent number 3 was not even heard. So there is a violation of natural justice even on first place.
Absolutely.
So the prima facie case, what else I can explain before the public domain
So
about the
didn't you ask for a stay of the ex parte order?
yes,
In the courts,
because
I mean,
our legal strategy was our legal team is taking action, and we are going to take soon in challenging this view.
And so, what about this allegations of
So when this kind of a
untouchability? Even that
colorable
was
legislation is there, when this kind of colorable legislation is there, now there is an Ani festival. Now coming to the directly, what is the subject now? Because now we are one by one I am explaining, and now for the sake of your audience, I am just clearing the disinformation and the cloud that has been there over this kind of allegation that has been made against each other. One by one I am clearing. Now come to the direct question. Now in Ani festival, the festival is for 11 days. Eighth day is the day before the Rath festival. The Rath festival is on 9th. And the 10th is Darshan, Ani Tirumanjana Darshan. The 11th day is the concluding ceremony. So 8th day, Nataraja has to be adorned with the valuable jewels, very antique jewels, because he is the one who is going to be taken out in the Rath. Unlike the other temples, where the Mulavar will be staying there, only the Urchavel will come out. Whereas here, even the main deity Nataraja himself will come out. That is the very unique and importance of the Rath temple in Chidambaram. That's why a lot of people come. Because when you see the Mulavar himself is coming out, you can see the joy and the expectations of the devotees. They are overjoyed because the mind deity himself is coming out to the street. And the whole Chidambaram town will be having a festive look because of that. Because a lot of people throng this small town only because to see Nataraja in this Rath, the main Nataraja himself. So that is the thing. For making preparation, the Dikshitars and the crowd is also more than 20,000 because a lot of people used to come from outside place. So they used to stay for 2 days for 9th and 10th. 9th and 10th. And they stay. And then for 8th day itself they come. So more than 20,000 people have used to come during 8th day. So it is normal during the annual festival in Ani and Margazhi, the devotees are not allowed in Kanaka Sabai because preparation and other religious things has to be done. Because the Mulavar himself is coming out means there has to do some lot of rituals. Because Mulavar is never been taken out in other matters. So when Mulavar is taken out, the elaborate rituals has to be conducted, coupled with the fact that ornaments has to be given. And Dikshitars have a very foolproof system of 20 Dikshitars having joint keys. They, in fact, it has been mentioned in the Madras High Court judgment also. Their system of managing the jewels is very exemplary. The other temples has to follow it. Therefore, there is an elaborate procedure for handing over the jewels and making the offerings to them, to the Lord, and then taking them. Therefore, the temple administration thought it fit that 8th and 9th and 10th, 11th. The 11th day, they will remove all those important jewels. For security reason, other thing, and also for the elaborate ritual that has been conducted. So the entry in 8th, 9th, and 10th and 11th was not allowed, not permitted. That was the small handwritten board that has been. It has hurt the ego of the HR&CE temple. They say, you should have consulted me. They pass an GO which has got no legal legs to stand. but they should be consulted. This was the ego. So they came with a battery of the contingents of police, and they say you should remove it. And there was naturally, of course, when the temple administration is beating the HR&CE official who has got no business to come inside the temple, in which she has got no control. There is an heated argument. But the police registered the case, saying that she has come for performing and discharging her official duty. 353. Obstruction 2. Where is it? She is a EO of Thilai Kaliamman temple. How can she come and perform a government duty in Natarajar Temple, which is under the control of Dikshitars? The basis of a complaint itself is false. Fundamentally, the complaint goes. And they say that there is a verbal abuse on there. Therefore, Section 4 of human harassment has been attracted. There is a video. The audio clearly shows only a heated argument. There was no words.
No, I saw it. There was nothing of that kind. I mean, it was just heated
So then, where is the Section 4 applies? Where is Section 4? I respect, madam. I respect the all women folk. I respect.
Absolutely, I saw. In fact, they were being quite provocative. I would say they were being quite provocative. I could see in the video the way they were trying to barge it. It was almost like, we try something so that even if you touch us, we can claim modesty.
Yes, and you can always say, whenever they come with a police force, how these government officials can behave, and that too in a place of worship. I can say priestly class.
Absolutely.
When they are coming with some kind of a police force, then they will only behave in a manner. Because we are not going to trade charges, man. First of all, in first place, that the lady officer of the HR&CE department has no business to come inside the temple, which is not under their control of the HR&CE department.
Absolutely.
And they can make a request. They could have asked, if at all there is some complaint has come, they can say that, no, we have passed a GO, but anyway, you have now given a notice board. What is the difficulty in allowing on 8th? 9th day and 10th day is already ruled out, because 9th and 10th day, the main deity itself is not in Kanakasabhai. So there is a question of giving permission. So Kanakasabhai entry is ruled out on 9th and 10th. So the only contention was on 8th day. Then on the 11th day. So they explained, because of the number of crowds and for the security reason and the elaborate rituals that has been conducted, we are not allowing. It's only for 4 days. But no. You have violated the GO. You see the attitude, man.
Absolutely.
I just ought to put it to the public domain about the attitude of the government in implementing a GO, which is a questionable GO, a colorable exercise of power in a temple worship. There are a lot of law and order issues, lot of other issues. No. Those things are all not important. The only important is the implementation of a GO by the mighty Tamilnadu government. How dare these Dakshitas can put up a board saying that they are denying permission, violating implementing the GO. Madam, you see in the High Courts, day in, day out, the judges, the honorable judges of the Madras High Court, they pull up the government why they are not implemented the GO. A GO for paying pensions, GO for giving appointments, GO for giving certificates. Everything has been violated. But these people now say they want to implement this questionable GO with police force. And what else I can explain, madam? I place it to the public domain about the motive and other things about this.
They tore the board and they even stamped on it. It looked so bad. I mean, pushed the priests physically. And I think the
what has happened was on 11th, on 10th day evening, the assistant superintendent of police and also the RDO in charge, they came and visited the temple and they held some kind of talks. I was also present, representing the temple administration, because they thought that you should also come. No, I spoke to them, say that, sir, only for the security reason we are not. It is not a customary right. The GO is there. The legal challenge will be done as per our legal advice. That is a different thing. I don't want to talk about that because I have talked to you elaborately about only for the understanding of the audience. But I didn't
Mm-hmm.
say argue this legal stuff because it has to be argued in only in court, not before the
Yeah,
official. Then
it's
I said,
enough to say it will be
yes,
challenged. That's it.
yes. I said the legality will be challenged later. Why we are challenging
Mm-hmm.
now? Later, that is our own legal strategy. You can't question
Mm-hmm.
that. So as of
Absolutely.
today, there is a GO. But what is it? What is the necessity for you to force this kind of a
Force
implementation
it.
in a festival day when the crowds are larger? They got no
Absolutely.
answers. Then after that they said we will hold the one kind of talk. We should have a cordial relationship. Then 1 week later we will fix a date. Then we will have a cordial talk with regard to this GO. And for
Mm-hmm.
11th day, you just follow
Mm.
your own thing. We will not come. But 11th day morning, all of a sudden, the Dikshitars told me there are a huge contingents of police in
Mm.
the Iskar street, in
Mm.
the main entrance of the temple. So they are
Mm.
scared. And there was
Mm.
rumors going on that the government order will be implemented. Even, even if the doors are closed, they will break open and implement it.
Oh my God.
This was
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm.
rumor that has been going around to scare the
Mm.
Dikshitars.
Mm.
But the Dikshitars said, no, 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 no. When the board was taken by the HR&CE official with the help of the huge police contingents with 200 policemen, we never objected. The same way, even if the doors are open, break open, we will not object. Let the law will decide and we will go to court. And we have got belief in
Mm.
Nataraja and judiciary and we will take action in the judge. They kept quiet. But when the crowd was, everybody was there in the western portion of the Kanaka Sabai, the eastern portion of the Kanaka Sabai, the Pujai Dikshitar was about to commence his puja at 7 p.m. So the doors are open to witness the Chandramoulishwara Abhishekam that has to commence because the Sayaracha was held at
Mm.
6:30. Then 7 o'clock, this Chandramoulishwara Abhishekam will be done. That is Kala Puja. Then the door was open. Suddenly, you can see the video also. The video will clearly show there is a two executive officer or two HRNC officials, along
Mm.
with one lady inspector and lady sub inspector and four constables. They are
Mm.
running.
Mm.
What is the
Yeah.
urgency? If they want to climb up a religious place, want to worship, why they are running?
Absolutely.
The
Yes.
moment the thing running is they want to prove a point that they have entered Kanakasabhai in defying this Dikshitar. Is this the way the government official should behave in a religious place?
Absolutely.
Absolutely pathetic, disgusting.
And it shows that they are not devotees either. If they were
Yes,
devotees, they wouldn't be
yes,
doing that in the first place.
yes,
So they can't be speaking for devotees, is
yes,
what I feel.
yes.
They are
So they
believing
say
what.
that they are speaking for the devotees. That's why they want to implement because so many people. That is what now you see in the channels. Somebody appearing on behalf of the government and the ruling party says, no, 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 we are for the devotees. And even the honorable minister used to say that darshan as to the devotees is our prime concern. Is this a prime concern? Is the way in which your officials behave like this in a religious place? And you go to a
Absolutely.
religious place with a huge contingents of policemen to enforce a GO which is a very questionable GO
Absolutely.
in a temple which is you have got no control. All that he
Absolutely.
shows is the motive of the state government is to provoke Dikshitars, book them under some criminal cases, then
Yes.
arrest them, and then
Yes.
come to terms.
Yes.
What kind
Now,
of
sir, you have
Hmm.
explained very nicely the current position about the
Yes,
Kanaka Sabai and the whole controversy.
yes,
If we move a little backward,
The
Now,
only
I mean,
one more factual instance which for the audience,
yeah,
madam.
yeah.
While doing so, they pushed the Puja Dikshitar,
Yes, that's what.
and he was really upset because he never expected this kind of a push, unexpected push. So his dhoti and other things, he was wearing panjakajam and also his
Mm,
punal. Both of them were dislocated, and it
yes.
so happened that the thread was slightly cut off because
Oh my
of the
God.
unexpected push.
Hmm.
And also the dhoti is also because the panjakajam is a loosely tightened
Hmm.
thing,
Hmm.
so it also it was also dislodged.
And
And the main thing about this is the religious belief. I'm not, and now they
absolutely.
are giving a different color to this because the Puja Dikshitar is considered to be a Nataraja by the Dikshitar
Mm-hmm.
community.
Mm.
Every day, that one Puja Dikshitar will come and do the puja. But he is
Mm.
considered as the Nataraja himself because the religious
Mm-hmm.
belief is Nataraja is one among them. And it is also
Mm-hmm.
a religious belief that Nataraja is the administrator of the temple. That's why he is called
Temple.
Sabanayagar.
Mm.
Sambhanayagar, because the lamp from the main deity will come, will be
Mm.
taken during the general assembly of Podhu Dikshitars, and that
Mm.
will be kept. And that lamp will be considered as Nataraja, representing
Mm.
Nataraja, and the decision will
Mm.
be taken in his presence. Therefore, it is called Sabanayagar Temple. It is called
Mm.
Sabanayagar Temple for in legally, but it is popularly known as Nataraja Temple. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
name Sabanayagar. So therefore, this Nataraja is one among them, and people believe, and the devotees also believe that the Puja Dikshitar is in Nataraja, representing Nataraja, and
Mm-hmm.
not even the other Dikshitar will touch him.
Mm.
You can understand this practice, practice, madam, if I correlate to the Melshanti Nambudri. The
Mm-hmm.
Melshanti Nambudri doing puja in Kerala temple,
Mm.
they will not come out.
Yes.
And if anybody touches them, he will go to the
Yes.
bathroom and then
Yes.
have a
Have
fresh
bath
bath.
again.
And this is all
Yes, that is
religious
the
belief,
body.
madam. You cannot say that it is. These are all the things which is discriminative of anything. This is
No,
all
it is not.
associated with the religious belief.
Now,
Now
it is the
people
practice. It is the
when
traditional
I said
practice.
this in the public domain, now there is a sarcastic comment saying that because of the touching of the official, now that is considered as a discriminatory. How in 2023 such kind of I am lost
No,
to understand how they belittle these kind of religious beliefs. They can do it only in Tamil Nadu.
absolutely, absolutely.
Why can't they go to
And
Kerala? Why can't do
and
Kerala?
Chandrasekar ji, I just want to ask one thing. I think a month back, there was news that in Tiruchi, scheduled caste convert Christians were then petitioning, protesting against discrimination. They were protesting that the church discriminates against them. They didn't bother to go and close the church there in Tiruchi. They didn't do that. This has now become only a ruse to take over the temple. I mean, I've been saying this is not the
Yes,
only time. They had horrible things done. Two
yes.
minor girls had to go through horrible virginity tests, the two finger test. Now
I will
that
explain
is
to it, madam.
horrible.
I will explain the courses, madam. I will explain that cases. First of all,
Yes.
I want to say for your audience sake that Podhu Dikshar administration, whom I am representing, is not encouraging child marriage. That I
Hmm.
want to make it in first place at the
Hmm.
outset, because
Hmm.
we don't believe of violating the child marriage because we also say it's a social welfare legislation and the temple administration has a codified law called Temple Satam,
Hmm.
temple law, that is codified in
Hmm.
19th century. It clearly
Hmm.
says that married person aged 21 will be eligible to do Chandramurishwara Puja. That is the puja right,
Oh.
six kala
Hmm.
puja. So
Hmm.
even in 19th century, they
Hmm.
say the eligibility, even when that child marriage was allowed or taking place, is not as
Hmm.
strict as is now. That is,
Hmm.
if the marriage, the law came into existence in 1927, the Sharda Act, I think, that
Hmm.
Marriage Prohibition Act. I don't
Hmm.
remember, but it came in 1920s. Raja Mohan
mm,
Roy, after
mm,
this Sarda Act is popularly called, then there are a lot of amendments, and the present act
mm.
is the Child Marriage Prohibition Act
2006.
2006.
Mm,
So that even in 19th century, when there is a temple law is codified, they say the
mm,
eligibility is 21 years. So the temple
mhm,
administration never encourages child marriage.
mm,
So there was an allegation of child marriage that is alleged to have been held in 23/1/2021.
mm,
That for that, a complaint was given in September 2022. You see the
mm.
number of months, more than
More than
18,
a
19,
year,
more
18
than
year and a
18,
half.
year and a half, 1.5
Yes,
years,
one
there
and
is
a
a
half
complaint.
years.
So I just wanted to, because this audience should know how this Tamil Nadu police is making a vengeance and wreaking vengeance on just to take the temple control. This is what I'm
Absolutely.
been saying from the beginning when these cases have been registered. I never say that Tamil Nadu government has no right to investigate or inquire into a allegation of child marriage. The
Mm,
state has duty bound whenever, because
mm,
the Child Marriage
mm,
Prohibition Act clearly says
mm,
whoever may be the informant. When the information comes about child marriage, then the state, the police go and intervene.
mm,
But here, the method of investigation, the manner of arrest are
mm,
only questionable, and it is very unfair because the maximum punishment under Child Marriage Act is only 7 years.
mm,
The two, the 2 years,
mm,
2 years, which is less than 7 years.
mm,
The Arnish Kumar judgment, and
mm,
subsequently the Satinder
mm,
Kumar Antel versus CBI, which is the
mm,
latest judgment. And
mm,
both of them say the arrest is
mm,
not mandatory for
mm,
offences punishable under 7 years.
mm, mm,
Therefore, in this case, the arrest is not mandatory and it is illegal. What
mm,
they say is, according to Arnish Kumar dicta, that they have to issue summons to the
mm,
accused persons
mm,
under Section 41A CRPC.
mm.
So they have to inquire why they have not issued summons here. And this is arrest is illegal. Then
They
about the
just
clinical,
came and
then
arrested.
about the clinical, they just
Mm,
arrested. They arrested and take away the parent, the father of the alleged bride, that the
mhm,
minor child, and they take away.
mm,
They are not only that. The arrest is they just barged in and dragged him.
mhm,
The complaint was at Kadalur
mm,
police station. The
mm.
arrest is made in Chidambaram. The
Okay.
jurisdictional magistrate was not informed about the arrest
Mhm,
because the Kalur police Delta team came and
mm,
arrested them. The local police was
mm,
not informed. The local
mm,
jurisdictional magistrate at court at Chidambaram was not informed. They just dragged him and produced it in Kadalur court. That is one thing. So the arrest is illegal as per the Basu judge. In guidelines for Basu, arrest is given in Basu judge. That has been, there is a human rights violation. First.
yes.
The second one is, on the same day, the minor child was taken illegal custody. Where is the necessity for taking the custody of the minor child in
Mm,
child marriage? If it is a forced marriage and other things, that's why the date is very important.
mm,
It is 2021, and you
yes.
are investigating the matter in 2022 September. And where is the forcible custody of the minor child to has to be taken?
And the
If
child
it is
is
not,
with the parents. If the
yes,
marriage had taken
that
place,
is
the child
that is the
is with
thing.
her.
Not with the group, the alleged group.
Yeah. The child is with
Since
the parents and they are
yes,
dragging the children to the police
yes, and
station.
making her to confess that there is a marriage has taken place. On the basis of the alleged confession, the affair is registered. And then there is the heinous thing that has been done. The child was forced to undergo the banned two-finger test, according to the victims. They say that they were
Mm,
forced to undergo the, saying that the bail will be denied to the father if the test is
mm,
not done. Now comes, I leave it to the inference of the audience. about the mode of investigation of a clinical test being done on the minor. Why they are doing this virginity test on her is only to prove, to invoke POCSO Act, which is more severe than the Child Marriage Prevention Act, so that they can put the Dikshitars more number of days in custody and rattle them. This was the plan.
So they violate the
These
child.
all can be
Actually, the
inferred
state, yeah. Actually, I
easily
would
by
say the
anybody.
state, sir, I feel that the state is, in fact, sexually violating the children because they are
Yes,
making them
that is why
undergo
I'm making it a point. You are now come to the real thing, issue in the controversy. The state was very desperate to invoke POCSO Act. But indeed, the investigation officer and the medical officer are now liable to be booked under POCSO.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because the very privacy and the thing has been violated.
Absolutely.
And the two-finger test has been conducted against the in the minor child. The privacy of the child is now been violated.
Yes.
Then the very act that the Tamil Nadu police wanted to invoke against Dikshit is applicable
Getting
to them. This
absolutely.
is the irony, but nobody is highlighting. No child
Sir,
rights activities. In
can't.
fact, I have given this petition in October 2022. The two Dikshitars representing the Dikshitar community give the petition to the NCPCR and Tamil Nadu Child Rights Commission and also the Home Secretary and also to the DGP. There are two prayers in that. The first prayer is there is a ban child, the thing has been done, so the NCPCR should inquire. That is the first thing, child rights violation. The second thing is because there is a conflict of interest of the Tamil Nadu government in taking over the temple, and the Tamil Nadu police is acting in this way when the act is not requiring both arrest and clinical test. Since unfair investigation has been done, the investigation has to be transferred to the central agency. These two prayers are there in my petition. The petition has been given in October 2022. But whole thing came to limelight after His Excellency, the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, made it in public domain on 4/5/2023 in an interview with Times Now. The Times
It's
Now
only
interview,
then. Yeah.
he has highlighted the plight and the sufferings of the minor child. And immediately I welcome on behalf of Dikshitars, saying that the constitutional head of the Tamil Nadu government himself has been highlighting these sufferings of the child rights violation of a micro-ethnic community. Therefore, I welcome on behalf of the Podhu Dikshitar immediately. But the thing is, the governor is only expressing concern about the law and order situation in Tamil Nadu. So, but the Tamil Nadu government took it other way, and they wanted to disprove the governor, saying that no test was done. There's a denial. The denial is not enough in these kind of matters. Only an inquiry can come the truth. But the media trial has been done here, much against the
Even you.
minor child thing, privacy. A media trial was conducted. In fact, you would have watched it in the media. Everybody was in denial mode. They say that no such conducted governor is live. How there was an allegation, and we also made an allegation by a written complaint, competent authority. So the inquiry is to be done, and a judicial inquiry can only say which is true and which is not true.
Absolutely.
How can a clean sheet can be given by the government to the delinquent officials who are facing the charge of violating child rights? So, but the clean certificate has been given by the media and the Tamil Nadu government. The Tamil Nadu government has given a clean sheet. They say no test has been done. How can that be? Then I immediately said, how can this kind of thing can be done? Only a judicial inquiry, a suo motu, because this is a fit case. There is a serious charge of child rights violation. Therefore, the High Court and the Supreme Court has to initiate suo motu inquiry in this. But what is very much surprising and which is very, very glaring is these human rights activists and child rights activists in Tamil Nadu never even spoke about it, even after the governor has highlighted in the press. I have given the petition in October 2022. I made it public. Then after that, this whole registration of cases stopped. So in a way, I made it public because this thing has to be stopped. So when I make a serious allegation like this, the Tamil Nadu police stopped this kind of things because it is a recurring thing. Week by week, they have been arresting and doing this kind of clinical examination. Two children were subjected to two children, one in September, another in October. The two children, one children was left out for a reason that's known to them. I don't know why, because his father was undergoing eye surgery and other things. But they detained them in police station till 11 p.m. Even the first child was detained in police station till 11 p.m., which is much against the police standing orders. No woman, and especially the child, cannot be held in the police custody, police station for more than after 6 p.m. And the first child was without even the mother. So this was a serious human rights violation, a serious human rights violation and child rights violation in this case. This is an open shut case. Anybody? And
in fact, one should. Didn't you try to? Can't you try and go to the High Court seeking compensation and action?
For that aspect, also, I will give you an explanation, madam. We have now approached the competent authority. The NCPCR member has visited Chidambaram on 24/5/2023 and is inquired, and his report, he has filed the report to the chairman. So the chairman has to give a verdict on this. So we are awaiting for the verdict of the NCPCR chairman on this, because both the child has given a statement before the NCPCR member. Of course, the NCPC member has made some kind of a statement, one statement before the press and other things. Probably he should not have made anything like that because it's the privacy of the child. Anyway, but that is a different matter. But now he has given the report to the child rights chairman, and we are awaiting for the report. So that is one thing. But here I want to highlight for the sake of our audience about the matter in which the very thing that is a very important aspect of this Dikshitar's fight against the government. It is no level playing field. 1,500 micro-ethnic community.
Yes.
Fighting for survival after the background of 70 years of litigation. Even after the Supreme Court has given a final coitus, the HR&CE is not relenting. And they are trying this dubious method using the police force to threaten them on a daily basis. Even for small things like entry into Kanaka Sabai for 4 days. Huge contingents of police coming in worship place. I'm very surprised. I leave it to your audience, madam. About it's an unprecedented use of police force in the worship place. Can you ever even heard about this kind of a huge police force?
Chandrasekar ji.
Yes.
Chandrasekar ji, would you be? I saw your press conference then. You were urging the center for the CRPF to guard the Chidambaram Temple because the state police is being hostile. So what about that? Can you please elaborate on that?
As a lawyer defending them, it is not a statement out of any kind of a instantaneous reaction to one instant on that day. The instant on that day is a block day on Chidambaram Temple. That is what I even told the public domain. Because in a religious place, such a brutal police force cannot be used. And that to push a person doing puja. I don't think that there is any precedent for pushing any person doing puja. After all, he is an innocent person. His only duty is to do service to that Lord, and he is doing his only duty. Just to prove their point, you can see the video. They are just
Mm.
running like 100 meters race
Yes.
just to prove a point. They are not going for any kind of a darshan there.
Yeah.
So, and they pushed it. They pushed the
Yeah.
Dikshitar. Is it is it not a violation of fundamental rights? Article 25, right to
Absolutely.
worship and propagate their own religion, and this police force is being used to disturb, yeah, puja activity there. So there's a
Mm.
complete breakdown of constitutional machinery when the police himself is doing. If I can say
Absolutely.
that if some third party is doing and the police is
Mm.
not taking action, that is also a failure. But
Mm.
here, the perpetrator is the police.
The police.
And anyone can explain this kind of thing. And I see a lot of debates are going on in the channels, and people come and say so many other things unrelated to this. Nobody was able to answer the anchor's question on why the police in first place go to a religious place to just to
Absolutely.
implement a government order.
Mm.
It's after all only 4 days,
Mm.
and these people are not terrorists. Dikshitar,
Mm.
they are only priestly class. So
I
where is
know.
it? Why these huge contingents of police going and top officials, the assistant
Absolutely.
superintendent of police, the district administration, Tasindar, revenue full,
Mm.
everybody, and huge constable.
Mm.
This is unexplained. It cannot. The government cannot just explain like this.
Absolutely.
That's why
Absolutely.
he highlighted that not only on this particular instant, but see the background. From May 2022, they have been harassing and coming with HR&CE official with a huge contingency of police to a religious place. And even when
Mm.
the GO was passed, 500
Mm.
policemen came to implement that GO.
Mm.
And the Dikshitar never objected it because they said they will
Mm.
challenge it in court. And that is a
Mm.
legal strategy. But even when the GO was there passed, they come with a 500. Even on that day, I also told this is unprecedented. Why in a religious place such a huge deployment of police force is been coming to implement a questionable GO for
Absolutely.
which you have got no control in a temple. These are all the
Absolutely.
points which have not been answered at all by the government authorities so far. I just want an answer from them if
Mm.
they are law abiding, if it is a state is a welfare state. The state is for the welfare of everybody. They can be having some kind of a misunderstanding or disagreement with Dikshitars. If they are disagreeing with their administration, it is for them to go through the process of law.
Mm.
If they are if they think they can
Mm.
have the process of law. But there is a
Absolutely.
binding Supreme Court judgment.
Mm.
The
Mm.
Supreme Court judgment is binding on them. They cannot
Mm.
overcome. So in that Supreme Court judgment, it is very clearly said the
Mm.
HR&C department cannot
Mm.
do indirectly what they
Mm.
cannot do directly.
Directly.
Now, the pattern of events from May 2022 clearly
Mm.
show they are trying to do something indirectly what they cannot do it by a direct intervention into the administration. On
Absolutely.
a regular basis, they are interfering with the administration of the Podhu Dikshitars.
Absolutely.
What else? The everything, the pattern of events from May 2022 only says with the use of police force in a religious place. That's why not on the single instant on day for yesterday that I asking for Central Reserve Police. But there is a
Mm-hmm.
pattern of events from May 22 when a hostile government employing the huge number of policemen, contingents of policemen, deployment of police in a religious place, just to threaten
Mm-hmm.
them, just to force them, and there is an illegal arrest, and there is also the banditist and on child rights violation. So all this
Mm-hmm.
cumulatively, I make a prima facie case for the Central Reserve Police protection, and not only that,
Absolutely.
I am making my point. I am also making my case still more stronger because when
Mm.
somebody from the uniformed police, disciplined police, that should be they can push a Puja Dikshitar like this, then how can a hostile person will behave in future? When there is no protection
Absolutely.
even from the police, who are has to
Absolutely.
protect everybody, including Dikshitars. They themselves are not violating and they are pushing the Dikshitars doing puja. Then what else you can
Mm.
expect from an hostile person? Then
Absolutely.
there is a clear case where the right of right to live and the security is threatened. What else I can make out
Absolutely.
again? I only making out a case on the pattern of events, which is cumulatively ended up in the police roughing up even the puja
Puja
Dikshit,
Dikshitar.
and disturbing the puja arrangements and entering
Yes.
into a Kanaka Sabai with all this kind of a alertness and then thing, just to prove
Mm.
one point, one upmanship. Can
Absolutely.
anybody from the government side can explain this kind of things in public domain?
Mm.
I'm ready to debate with them if it is a very healthy debate.
Yes.
But it
And
is
not
not going
short.
to be. It is not going to be. Even I told you that I don't want any panel discussion because the panelists is not going to allow me to speak as freely as I am doing now. And
Absolutely.
they will not give any answer. Probably I will be abused
Mm-hmm.
or they will provoke me. I'm not going to be provoked, but that is a different thing. But
Mm.
that is what it has been done in public debate. In fact, many
Yes.
TV channels invited me, Tamil channels. I said, sorry, I cannot come. If you interview me, if you want to record my interview with me, I'm okay. But I cannot sit in a panel
But
and I cannot.
Chandrasekar ji, you're right, very right. It's very hostile. Media is quite hostile. But I feel that the Podhu Dikshitars should be reaching out through their spokesperson and you globally to the Hindu community because the
I'm doing
Hindu
that.
community
I'm
does
doing.
not
I'm
know
doing that
that.
precisely. I'm doing that precisely, and I'm
Yes,
not
yes.
exaggerating any figures, madam. Truly,
Mm,
honestly speaking, madam, I'm only speaking the
mm,
truth. My conscience is
mm,
very clear. I am not
mm.
any hiding any facts. I also
Yes.
invite you to come to the Chidambaram. You just
Yeah.
have a darshan. Even your audience can come.
Mm,
The audience of your Bharat Voice. They can introduce
yes.
them as subscribers to this channel. They can come.
Mm,
I invite them very openly. Let them come and see the ground situation here.
mm.
My endeavor
Absolutely.
is whole thing, even for an agreeing for an interview with you, is to place what is the actual situation there,
Mm,
not the distorted and the hostile version that has
mm.
been attempted to have been presented by the other side.
Absolutely. Absolutely,
And
sir.
as a duty bound, because in public domain, the views
Mm,
of the affected party should be also be placed. And
absolutely.
I leave it to the audience to decide about.
I feel that the Hindus at large should come and take up this case very vociferously, and even we should be writing to the Prime Minister of India articles. That is, I would be also writing articles based on your interview and the facts that you have put out. And
Yes,
we need to even come out in activism because we need the Prime Minister to should be
because
apprised of the matter.
yes, yes, madam, I completely agree. But the point I am making is when there is a human rights violation, when there is a child rights
Yes,
violation, when there is a
yes,
brutal use of force, that is why
yes,
I suggested this
yes,
state-sponsored oppression on micro-ethnic
yes.
community.
It is state
Yes,
sponsored operation of micro. I think you should be even approaching the minority commission because you are very much a minority, ethnically minority
but
community,
we
and you have
already
been
approached the
oppressed.
Child Rights Commission, which has taken up the matter,
Yes,
and
yes,
after this case is now after this kind of climax incidents that has when the police itself has assaulted the puja,
yes.
violating the constitutional thing. There is a complete breakdown
Mm,
of, according to me, it is a complete breakdown of constitutional machinery, especially in Kannur district.
yes,
And we don't
yes.
have any belief. that the Tamil Nadu police is going to protect the rights of Dikshitars in any event.
And sir, have you appealed to the governor? Because the governor was there.
Because these things need the documentation, not one line request, because it's a
Yes, of course.
constitutional head. So I have to present it in a manner in which a constitutional head has to see a prima facie and a case in which it warrants the rare prayer like the Central Reserve Police. Therefore, I am documenting whatever all I have narrated. Because this is an interview only, because in actual terms, I can, by case basis, on daily basis, there are a lot of incidents that have happened. So I will document it, everything, and I will present it for the consideration of the constitutional head of the
Governor.
state, and also the other constitutional functionary in the center. Maybe
Absolutely.
we have already, because in this case, we have already done it when our life and property has been threatened. Even May 2022, by the huge contingents of police, we have written to the president and also the prime minister and also the home minister and the governor, saying that we need our livelihood is being threatened and we want protection. So that was done in May 2022. This is only a
Okay,
cumulative.
when the
Yes,
SCST Act thing happened.
yes. Now you are now come to a subject where I have to explain, madam, because that is a case in crime number 254 of 2022
Mm-hmm.
in February or March. There's a case. That was case because the one dictator went out of this community. They went out of this community because of the difference of opinion in entry into Kanaka Sabai. He said the entry should be there, and all the majority of the Dikshitars said. Then he joined hands and he acted against the interest of the Podhu Dikshitars in joining hands with the forces which are opposing, hostile to them. So he has been given false cases. He registered a false case. He and his father has registered a 307 without any injury to him against three Dikshitars. So he was suspended. After that, that particular Dikshitas came along with a woman, and Dikshitas do not know about the caste identity. For the registration of case against SC/ST, what is very clear is the accused person should know the identity of the caste.
Absolutely.
That is not there in this case, because daily thousands of devotees come. They don't know who
Who is who?
belongs to which caste. No idea. After the accused person. After all, this case is a very interesting case where there is only there is a video recording. The video recording says that there is no use of the objectionable word by all the accused. There was an audio and video presentation. In fact, the case was registered. After the case was registered, for all these SC/ST cases, the DSP is the
Immediate arrest.
investigation officer. The DSP, the DSP was in charge, has referred the matter. Action dropped. And the refer notice was served on the complainant. That is the procedure. Immediately, that notice was taken away, and that investigation officer who has closed it because there is no case, he was transferred.
Oh my God.
Only because of this, because he has done what is correct in this case. He has said there's no case is made out. The investigation officer has got the right to investigate, and he has to decide whether the complaint is true or not. The FIR will be registered. The FIR will be registered, because if the FIR is not registered, then that is also an offence under POA Act, because Section 4 says if a complaint is given, the investigation officer is to register. Otherwise, he will be also punishable under Section 4. This is POA Act. Now, the case was registered. Then, after that, an investigation was done by the investigation officer. The investigation officer cannot be influenced by anybody. That is the rule of law. The investigation officer is not under the control of the superior officers. Superior officer can guide, but they cannot investigate. The investigation is a prerogative of the investigation officer. So the investigation officer in all criminal cases has to investigate and file a charge sheet. That is the CRPC. So if there is no case is made out, then he can also drop the case. Action drop. Action drop report can be filed before the court. That is the procedure. Final report need not be only charge sheet. It can be also be an action drop report.
Yes, yes.
So
They
action
changed
drop
the
report.
officer, you said.
Yeah. The action drop report was filed. And what is the procedure in CRPC was the action drop report, the notice has to be issued to the de facto complainant. This is the procedure. So the notice was issued by the magistrate to the concerned court, competent court, to the refer notice was there, pasted in the house of the de facto complainant. But that was removed. And immediately, because of the sequence of events that has happened, he was transferred just because he has action dropped that case. The new investigation officer was taken charge. And what is that is that procedurally, the charge sheet has to be filed within stipulated time. It's a special act. Unlike the other things, this is a special act. So there is a mandatory provision to file a charge sheet within such a certain period of time. But this charge sheet was never filed because they cannot find any accused. They don't know any kind of a charge sheet material in that complaint and also in the investigation. But somehow the second investigation officer filed a charge sheet against the person. But now what the other people now saying is they are not arrested. How can there be an arrest in this case when the first investigation officer has even action dropped the case? Such being the background. So you have to test any case by these kind of events only. If it is a prima facie a true case, then why isn't that? And these are all the things happen in over a period of time. Total inaction because the investigation officer is not able to have any breakthrough because the case is not true. That's why the action was dropped. So this is the case. This is the background of the case in which the SC/ST charge is leveled against 9 Dikshitars. And they say on the basis of this kind of a case, the Dikshitars practice untouchability.
This
I
is
only leave it to
ridiculous.
the audience. I leave it to the audience because none of them were aware of all these things.
They were not even knowing whether the person coming was a SC/ST or not. How can they
Yes,
be alleged of any discriminations?
yes.
I mean, this is
The case itself
ridiculous.
fine. The case itself is
And,
fine. So that is the way in which I only see I only highlighting the merit. I'm only highlighting the merits and demerits of the case. I'm not saying that the investigation has to be done in this way or not that way. But I'm only saying about the various that fundamentally the case has not no legs to stand as of now if you go by the fact.
absolutely.
I'm not saying
So I
anything.
think
I'm not saying
yes.
anything about the allegation that has been made. If the allegation is there, true, and if the allegation is found to be true, and if the competent court try it, and then find if the allegations is true, then the only way is natural course is to punish. So that is the way in which the trial has to be conducted.
But
But
I think this is a serious
I'm only
case.
making statements in which
Absolutely.
about the loopholes and also the mistakes that has been there. I'm only highlighting for the general public. Therefore,
Absolutely.
on the basis of this kind of a loose material that has been available in a registered case, how can they say that the Dikshitars practice untouchability?
And in
So
fact, Tiruma
only on the
Vallavan,
behalf of Dikshitars, I can only say, because the right of defense is available for the Dikshitars also. So they can say that
yeah,
it's a falsely implicated case. So unless it
mm,
does, the trial court finds which is a true case or false case, or the whole pattern of things, then nobody can pass a judgment saying that untouchability is practiced in Chidambaram Temple by the Dikshitars.
that's,
It's only an allegation. Everybody,
yes.
those like in criminal trial, what they say is the accused person is innocent till he is convicted.
Yeah, but this case, this act is a very draconian act where the
Yes.
accused has to prove that he's not
Yeah, that's
guilty.
why I'm
He's otherwise
saying,
not. That's why
but
they
there is
fixed.
one thing, but there is one rider class. But the
Mm-hmm.
accused person should have known about the identity of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that, where is in
The
this case? Where is in this case?
Absolutely. I think there would be many CCTV cameras there covering the
Yeah,
whole
there is a
thing.
video recording there. There is a video recording
So
there.
that can bail out. I mean, that can speak for itself. The truth
Yes,
can speak for itself. So
yes.
that's a thing. I
Well,
think
I am
what,
not because the case is now in trial. So
yes,
the trial
yes.
and the
You
Dikshitars,
can't.
whoever are the defending the Dikshitars, they got a right of defense in any trial.
Yes,
I'm only
absolutely.
saying certain points which is to the public domain, saying that these
And
are all the points there in the case which which can show that the case can be falsely implicated as per the statement made by these persons. I am not a
absolutely.
person who is not defending that case at all. But the Dikshita says these kind of things are there. And there are also
Mm-hmm.
other people say that even because the first investigation officer has dropped that case.
He
So in
dropped
that
the
background
case.
only I am making this statement. If the case has
Absolutely.
been charge sheeted by the first investigation officer itself, that is a different thing. But the first
Oh,
investigation has dropped that case. And he was
absolutely.
transferred only for that. Immediately transferred.
Absolutely.
So this
Punishment
also,
transfer.
these are all the circumstances only I'm highlighting before for the sake of your audience to just
Absolutely,
to
sir.
dispel the disinformation about this kind of a charge against Dikshitas. But
What
no
is your appeal, sir? Now you've nicely narrated how the Podhu Dikshitars are being oppressed
targeted.
by the state. Oppressed by
Yes,
the state. So,
oppressed and
what
also
is
targeted. Targeted.
and targeted,
Hmm.
targeted, and the
Yes.
whole thing is clearly for taking over the only temple, only
Which is not.
ancient temple which
Hmm.
is run by the Brahmins and
That,
micro
that charge also,
minuscule family.
that charge also, I'm not making, but I'm only making it for the convenience to understand the this kind of a political undercurrent. That
Yes,
I'm not making as a one kind of a charge or
yeah,
anything. I'm only highlighting the
I would like that.
undercurrent of
Hmm.
this undercurrent.
And that is our understanding as a,
Yes.
because as a lawyer you have problems. I mean, there are areas where you wouldn't want to venture into, but as a person who has been following these cases so well, I can quite make that conclusion, and I'm
Yes.
sure even the viewers Hindu, all the other Hindus can make this conclusion very safely. So, what is your expectation, or what is your appeal to the Hindus at large about how should we sort of organize so that this oppression and the harassment that the Podhu Dikshitars face is highlighted and they get some reprieve. I mean, so that they can run the temple peacefully and concentrate on worship. Now, what is happening is they are in tension. I mean, they are in total tension what the state would do. I mean, they can't
They live
even
in insecurity. They live in
yeah.
insecurity.
So how can one a person living in insecurity with so much mental tension be dedicated to the service of God, Shiva, when that is their main purpose? I mean, of their, that is the tradition that
Livelihood,
they have been
the
following.
livelihood itself is a question mark.
Yes, that right from Rajaraja Chola's time, They have been doing the service very dedicatedly. That is why people respect them. So,
Yes,
what is your opinion? How can we help
yes.
them?
We
How
can. I can make
can
a
we help the
very
Podhu
short,
Dikshitars?
raw submission of my whole thing, of the whole narrative today to you now. So
Yes,
on
yes,
behalf of Dikshitas, as a advocate who is
yes.
defending them, I now
Mm,
want the state government to realize this entire oppression is unfounded, it is unwarranted against a micro-ethnic community for the sake of the control of the temple. So they can be very
absolutely.
magnanimous enough to understand these points which have been narrated. And and according to me, these are all ground realities. So the ground
Mm,
realities has to be understood by has to be understood by a welfare state. The welfare
mm,
state is for everybody. So the I first appeal to the state government to realize that such thing when is cumulatively brought, cumulatively being presented, will give a picture how the government is going overboard and the police
mm,
excess is
mm,
clearly made out.
mm,
Therefore, I want the state government to see the ground realities, leave this micro-ethnic community who are doing service to the God.
mm,
Leave this, drop also these actions,
mm,
and allow them to live peacefully and to do the service to the God. That is my first appeal in expectation that the welfare state should listen to all the citizens,
mm,
including Dikshitas. So that is one thing. First, I want the state government. Now you are asking what I expect from the other devotees of
mm.
Nataraja Temple. They
Nataraja.
should now realize that there is a class difference between the
Mm,
worship that has been done and the darshan activities which has been done in other temples, where they collect money
mm,
from the devotees, from entering into the temple, a special ticket, abhishekam ticket, everything. Here there is nothing. So when there is such a devotee-friendly administration being done, the devotees should come in large numbers to
mm,
support this denominational administration and say to the government, all
mm,
right-thinking person should say,
mm,
because here the 6 Kala Pujas are held with astounding punctuality.
mm,
Nobody will wait for nobody, no VIP treatment to anybody. If it
mm,
is at 10 o'clock, it will be held at 10 o'clock. Because it closes at 10
mm,
o'clock. The other Jama will be done. Even if some VIP is coming at 11 o'clock, they won't open it.
mm,
This is a thing they normally practice, unless it is a
mm,
special puja or something like that. The
mm,
timings of Kala Pujas are perfect and they
mm,
follow astounding punctuality.
mm,
So these are all the things where there is it's a class away from the other HR&CE temple. The Hindu
mm,
devotees should appeal to the government to withdraw all these appropriations. That is
mm,
the thing which I want.
mm.
Then about the human rights and child rights, they should now come, at least now, after realizing the prima facie materials that has been placed,
Mm,
after
mm,
realizing all these things,
mm,
leave alone they are belong to which community or other community or
mm,
whichever community they are. These human rights activists should come in unison to
mm,
highlight this human rights violation and child rights violation. They
mm,
have been
mm,
doing it. Whenever there are small incidents, I find these human rights activists and child rights activists making such a hue and cry. Why they are
mm,
not doing it here? So I want those human rights activists who are completely silent in Tamil Nadu, not silent, because many from the northern states are asking me why in Tamil Nadu this child rights
yes,
violation is being debated in public,
mm,
ignoring the very morality and legality of protecting the privacy of the minor child. That is the question that has
absolutely,
been asked by my colleagues in North India. They're very
absolutely.
surprised. Why in a state like this, this photograph, morph photographs of a child has been leaked. when the case
Oh
is
my God.
under investigation. They
Mm-hmm.
have been asking these kind of questions. So therefore, the human rights and child rights activities come out in public. And all the
Mm,
right-thinking public, as you rightly put it, they have to
mm,
make an appeal and build up a
mm,
public opinion. This
mm,
state oppression cannot be against a religious institution in first place.
mm,
Whichever may
mm,
be the religion, whether it is Hindu or Muslim or Christian or any other community, any other religion, any other minority religion. But any religious place, the use of police force should be avoided.
mm.
And all right-thinking public should write to the representation to the concerned, the ruling dispensation, to avoid employing this, unless otherwise there is a huge festival where they have to come and regulate. But not to interfere on the worship activities and darshan
Worship
activities.
act,
Yes,
darshan
and
activity.
darshan activities. Because there is a clear-cut verdict of the Supreme Court which says the temple administration has got the prerogative to decide how to regulate the darshan activities.
Absolutely.
So when there is
Absolutely.
a ruling of the Supreme Court, how can the
Hmm.
Tamilnadu government say that they got a right to, when somebody say in public that when there is a huge crowd, we are concerned with,
Mm.
what is their concern? Just
In fact, that
barging into a worship place, just like using sprint and pushing a puja diksha. Is this the way in
mm,
which they have to administer these things?
absolutely.
Absolutely. These facts are very clear, madam. These video
Yeah.
photos, video proof, and everything is very clear, madam. I play all these materials before was the public domain, your audience, to decide about this kind of thing. And I just want, I am only making a painstaking narration to your in this interview because to explain so many unexplained matters and also about the concentrated disinformation campaign, hostile campaign that has been made
Hmm.
on very
Hmm.
serious terms, collecting money
Absolutely.
on darshan, and also when there is no untouchability is practiced, they say untouchability is practiced. Caste discrimination,
Absolutely.
when there is no even caste discrimination, even on religion, in a Hindu place of worship.
Hmm.
Whereas the other government controlled thing, there is discrimination on even admitting non-Hindus.
Hmm.
And now there is an interesting case has come in Nani Tirumanjanam. They say that 4 days, their government says that they cannot tolerate and they are interfering only because for the welfare of the devotees. But today a
Mm-hmm.
news came in Tiruchendur, there is a Varshabhishekam today done in Nani month. That is a
Hmm.
Kubhabhishekam day.
Hmm.
No devotees is allowed inside.
Okay.
How can they deny a darshan of a devotee on a
Mm-hmm.
Vashabhishekam day, which is the
Hmm.
Kupabhishekam day? They
Hmm.
deny, there is a HR&CE control temple. So rule for them
Why?
is one, and this Dikshitas cannot say that on security reasons and also for when there is a crowd and the religious worship and other things, 2 days, 2 days is
Hmm.
out of question. 8th and
Hmm.
11th day, is not tolerable to them.
And that too, they are not denying darshan. Everybody took
Yes,
darshan. It's only the
yeah.
Kanakasabha
Yeah, it is only
mandapam
the
that they
Kanakasabhai.
can't go.
But here
They
in our
can't
Varshabhishekam,
come.
every devotee has been denied in Tiruchendur. Now there is a announcement notification by the HRC department. Now it is
How
going
they do.
viral in these viral in the social media. They are saying
Absolutely.
how there when there is a 4 days 4 days denial is not being tolerated. How the HRC can do for banning entry into the temple of a very great importance in Tiruchendur for 1 day. These are all
Absolutely.
very uncomfortable questions
Yes.
and very pertinent questions. They cannot give any answers.
Yes.
I think I am
And
taking much of your time, madam. I'm very,
yes,
very, very
yes.
thankful for a
And
very patient audience from you. I'm very,
yes.
very thankful because this kind of a patient audience, because only because of that your patient audience and the time which has been given, I'm able to explain so many unexplained matters in public domain about
Mm,
Dikshitas. I think
yes.
I'm able to clear the unnecessary mudslinging that has been done on the Dikshitars. So I also invite you
Yes.
and even your own audience of your channel to come to Chidambaram, see the reality. Whether they
Yes.
can even check the veracity of my statement.
Yes, sure.
That
Sure.
is the way in which
We're
I
all
have to reach out.
Yes, 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 that is true. Thank you very much, Chandrasekar ji, for your time and explaining to us very nicely in detail about the various false allegations that have been leveled on the Podhu Dikshitars and the harassment that they face on a daily basis by the state. So it's an appeal here from Bharat Voice, from me to for the Prime Minister and the Center to consider, see, at the very least, a CRP of security before the Chidambaram Natarajar Temple, so that the Podhu Dikshitars can peacefully at least perform their puja rituals without having to fear that the state police would come in, barge, and even physically harm them any day, anytime. And of course, the young children, minor children, need to get justice. The way they were violated physically and sexually by the state, it needs justice. It's gross human rights and child rights violation to the worst kind. This is something very barbaric. You don't expect a welfare state, and that too an Indian state, to be doing this. Tamilnadu state, uh, the fact that the victims have been complaining, and the NCPC are also, person from the NCPC are coming and uh, accepting that such a thing happened. I mean, the investigation happened. Of course, the full report is just expected. So it's an appeal to all Hindus to kindly put forward their might and support the case of Podhu Dikshitars, and try to avoid this hostile takeover of the temples, as our temples have been taken over by the government, Tamil Nadu government. In more than 46,000 temples are with them. Of course, there are people like Sri T.R. Ramesh ji, who has been filing cases and trying to free the temples from government control. Even Dr. Subramaniam Swami has filed many such cases. And in fact, it was Dr. Swami who got the arrested the Chidambaram temple from the DMK government, which was hostile even then. And like in 2014 only, we got that verdict. Now again, they are doing that. So it's an appeal to kindly put forward your views very vociferously and run a campaign in the social media, and please do write to the state governor, even the chief minister, who's quite hostile to Hindus. But please do write to him so that he knows what is the situation. I mean, he knows what is the sentiment of Hindus. And please do write to the Prime Minister, President of India, the Chief Justice of India, and all the judges of the Supreme Court and High Court to take notice of this matter. Thank you so much, Chandrasekhar ji, for your valuable time. And
Thank
me,
you.
as such, I would be having a series of programs on this with other activists too. Thanks a lot. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.